Hi everybody, it's Tony from Cool Running Software. So I'm making this video here to go over the administration area of Cool Running Software. And there's a lot of different settings inside your Cool Running license where you can customize it to do certain things within your company. Okay, so I'm going to go. First thing I'm going to do here is in this video here is I'm going to go over the admin. I'm going to go over the settings areas, and I'm going to kind of go over these different type of settings and which ones are really important, which ones you should probably check with me or Cool Running Software Administrator to work to help you set it up. Okay, so the first one thing here we have custom exports, and it says right here what it's for. This is for setting up an export file to go into your accounting system. So at my company here, my old company, Olmsted Ice, it happened to be QuickBooks. And this is where I would actually help set up my entire QuickBooks. And now this piece right here, I would definitely get with Cool Running Software to help you make sure that everything is set up properly for importing into your whatever your accounting package is. Okay, I'm going to click here and go back to list. And I'm going to go up here and go back to settings. Alright, so over here we got customers. Let's click on customers here. Alright, so when you're creating these customers, these are the options that will come up automatically as you create a new customer. In my case, it defaulted automatically to cash. The default payment term was this, and these are the payment options. But when you create the new customers, you can customize it off of this. But this right here gives you a shortcut as far as exactly what type of payment options are going to be set up when you set up a new customer. Then from there you can customize it. Okay, so going back, this right here makes more sense when you actually start creating new customers. So I'm going to go back here to settings and go to the next one. Data warehouse. Alright, so right here we got a few different tabs right here. So the default payment method that I like to term code that I like to use is terms 30 days. Okay, but you can use different payment term codes if you want. Now, historical exports has to do with export batches that are created to send into QuickBooks, and I should probably real quick give you an example of that. So if I go into admin and data warehouse and custom exports here, this right here gives a listing of all the different batches that we've exported into accounting. Now, if I click here on export pending sales, it shows me a bunch of files. So what this right here is, it's going to show as long as how many days that I have it set. So right here you can see how many days that I have it here. So let me go back to that setting and I'll show you. So go back in your data warehouse, it says 28 days. It'll hold those files for 28 days, but you can change that to as long as you want. Okay, but typically everybody should probably have their stuff imported within a week into their accounting system. Data retention. This is where you can control how much data your system is holding. Now, Cool Running has a pretty large file that you can hold just with our basic license fee. But if you hold a lot of data, specifically proof of delivery documents, if you're using the proof of delivery option, where you're actually taking pictures and storing them inside the server, and if you hold them indefinitely, I guarantee that eventually you will end up having an extra data charge. Same thing with signatures. The signatures I would never hold indefinitely. I would finally put a limit on how long you hold the signatures, because signatures are also image. But as far as historical data and sensor data, this has to do with IceQ sensors. That holds on for a long time. Now going over here to custom values, this right here is nothing that you have to worry about. All right, going back to settings again. Volume sensors. This right here is if you have an IceQ. You can set your alarm levels and stuff right here, but this right here you would get with me at Cool Running Software as setting this up for you, so you don't need to worry about that unless you're actually using IceQ sensors. Okay, merchant services, same thing. This has to do with credit card processing. If you happen to set up a BlueSnap account which is our credit card third-party credit card integrator, we would put this information in so you could start accepting credit cards. Again, you would have to get with me on this, and I'd help you set it up. Mobile devices. Okay, so we have lots of different options as far as what type of things you have on your mobile devices. Allow removal of surcharges from orders and sales. So you can make it so a driver can never remove surcharges, or you're going to allow them to remove or add surcharges. Allow price changes. Allow product returns. You can actually set the system up where you do not allow product returns. Require comments on product returns. What that means there is if you actually have an ice chest attached to a location with a note section, this right here, if the driver does any type of returns, it will require them to put in a note on why they returned it. Finally, where I'm at, this right here is geocoding. all your location inside CodeRunning software are geocoded with a geofence around every one of them. If a driver tries to make a sale for a location and they're not actually at that location, it'll throw a message up at them say, hey, you're not at this location. So a lot of people end up turning this off because they feel it's annoying and it keeps popping up when they're not actually at the location. But again, so device frequency, as far as how often it updates, you can tell the device how often you want it to update so it shows up in your route vision. Mine is set to every 30 seconds. Every 30 seconds that the handheld app is sending its position. But if you want to save battery life a little bit, you can extend that out even longer. All right, going back to settings here. Portal. Clicking on portal here. I don't think there's anything that you guys need to worry about in this right here. This right here, of course, I set this all up for your company. But as far as all this other information, nothing that you need to worry about. Okay, going down to products. Okay, enable parent products. Okay, parent products is a way of grouping a bunch of products underneath the product. And private label surcharges is a way of adding on a surcharge, a private label surcharge to a product. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're co-packing for a company, and that company you're co-packing for wants the receipt to say $1.10 a bag. Okay, but that company you're co-packing for pays you $1. They get $1. You charge $1.10 for the store. You get $1. The company you're co-packing for gets 10 cents. This enables a receipt. This enables you to go ahead and put to make the base price $1, which is what you get paid, and then add 10 cents onto the price. So that way, there when it makes a receipt at stores, it adds on a private label surcharge. So that way, the stores charge properly. Again, this is something right here that I would help you set up. And same thing with parent products. I should probably take one moment here and show you what I mean by parent products. I'll go into a different license. So I can't go into a different license right now. I'm sorry. But basically, it makes it so you can group. For instance, if you sell 20-pound bags and you have different tiers of 20-pound bag pricings between different levels, so you can put all those different tiers of prices underneath one parent price. Again, this is something that I would help somebody set up. All right, going back to settings. Receipts. This is probably an important one right here. This is what your receipts would say. Okay, so you can go ahead and adjust your header, your footer information. You can go ahead and adjust your logo, view, replace it. Right here is for if you happen to send out a manual receipt. You can say right here if you want to copy whatever people you want to copy the message, copy the email to. If you send out manual receipts, and also a message that shows up in the email. This right here is for automated emailing. Okay, so again, send a custom message, but you can send it to a primary contact at the customer level and location level. So this is where you'd set that up. Finally, here on the properties, down here, this is something here that you probably wouldn't do unless you check with me first. But anyways, this is what it would say at the top of the receipts. I have clients that are in Australia that the top of the invoice would have to say tax invoice, like this. That's what theirs have to say. So that's what it says at the top of the receipt, invoice, receipt, or whatever. Okay, going back to settings here. Routing. Okay, so we have some options here in routing. This right here being your company address. How often the route vision updates is right here. I had mine set to 60 seconds. Every 60 seconds it automatically updates. Historical months from previous delivery. I'll show you what that means here in a minute. When publishing, send push notifications to affected routes. Okay, this right here will make it so that the device will go off with a notification, which would most likely be a horn sound and a notice on the handheld that their route has been changed. This right here enables you to go ahead and send push notifications. Okay, now the historical data here, how far back you're going to see the data. So let me take a moment and actually show you what that means here. I'm actually going to go into my customer list here, and let me just pick one customer. And this I'll use my test customer that I do for a lot of my stops here. One Stop Shop. All right, so if I click on One Stop Shop, you can see this little icon around a lot of places here. This right means is to view sales history. If I click on it, I have it set to see 14 months back of receipts that I've made. And it's taking a second to load, probably because I had a ton of them. There's sales history. It'll show me 14 months of information back. This is like a real quick reference to see that type of information. Okay, I'm going to go back into my settings again. And then finally, security. none of this is something that you're probably ever going to want to mess with. Okay? Okay, so that right there video concludes. It's our admin and our settings area, and I went over all these different things here. And this is a good reference to go ahead and look through so you understand what these things are. But a lot of times customers will just check in with us on something specific that they want to do, but people should feel free to go in here and make any custom changes that they might want. Specifically, most likely we're in the receipts areas, mobile devices areas, and the routing areas. Okay, so if anybody has any questions on this, please let me know. Thanks.